Nader Sadrzadeh. I'm founder and CEO of DeepSight Technology. DeepSight is a company that we founded based on very novel sensing technology that we wanted to introduce in the medical space, and specifically for ultrasound. Ultrasound is something that's been around for 60 plus years, but hasn't seen a lot of advancement in terms of the image quality, the depth penetration. But it's a foundational imaging technology that is real time, low cost, safe. And so we've introduced this really, really unique technology to be able to advance what we can do with ultrasound. What we've done is introduce completely new technology that without inducing anything new into the body. So we're using that same ultrasound transducer that's been around for decades, and we've changed the receiver. And what it does is it gives us a significant signal-to-noise ratio boost, which gives us the depth penetration. We've got extremely broad bandwidth relative to the conventional technology that's there, which gives us the resolution and the contrast. It's extremely small in size. We're as small as 50 micron, which is basically the tip of a human hair follicle. It's half the size of a human hair follicle, so we can put it in virtually any application. Conventional technologies, as the size is reduced, you diminish sensitivity. We don't have that same problem. And that's why we've put it at the tip of a needle, and we can, introduce that needle anywhere in the body and still image at a very high resolution. And we have an extremely wide receiving angle. So as opposed to existing ultrasound technologies, which is probably plus or minus 35 degrees, we're almost 360 degrees in terms of sensing angle. And so we can produce really dynamic images with a tiny sensor in virtually any application. And again, the number of applications that we're going after are extremely broad, but tackling them one at a time with the technology. Our first product is a product called NeedleView. What we've done is embed this tiny sensor at the tip of a needle, guide wire, introducer, catheter. We're really agnostic to the device that it can go in. We can put it in minimally invasive applications, visualize not only the device anywhere in the body using ultrasound, but we can also image from the tip of the device. So we can do things that you can do with ultrasound normally, like looking at Doppler, color flow, blood flow, measuring elastography, and so forth, but we can do it deep inside the body and at a much higher resolution than you can do from the probe that's outside the body. And then our follow-up product is a product called Equilux. This is where we actually introduced the first mixed array probe technology into the market. So we're transmitting the ultrasound with a traditional transducer, and then we're receiving with our mixed array technology, which gives us the significant performance in signal to noise. And the target is 100 times improvement in signal to noise relative to conventional technologies. It's 40 decibels. It's extremely significant when you look at the conventional technologies. NeedleView democratizes the use of ultrasound-guided needle procedures or interventional procedures. Basically, it's making it easier for physicians who are less trained, less skilled, less practiced to be able to do the same procedures safely in less time, better patient outcomes certainly, and lower overall cost without exposure to radiation, without being in the fluoro suite. Really, this is the dynamic impact we're expecting to have in the market with the introduction of NeedleView. We're currently going through testing and further development and refinement of the technology, but expect to put it in the hands of physicians or the FDA. Collaborations that we have in place with several institutions for evidence generation, data gathering, where we expect to establish this technology as the new standard of care in terms of the procedures that we will undertake. There's a host of applications that we're going after one at a time. The first applications are really starting with deep abdominal, liver, and kidney, and then extending out from there. On top of all this, not wanting to use the AI buzzword, but on top of all this, we have what we call supercharged ultrasound AI. And the reason for it is we capture 4 times the amount of data relative to any conventional ultrasound probe that's out there. And so we can eventually build much richer AI applications just because of the data that we capture. We are targeting U.S. market at first and Needle View being the first product. We're going to have our FDA submission here in the next couple of months. So we'll start in the U.S. market with our initial sales and then expand into the Middle East and Africa using the FDA, and then extend into Europe. So we'll be filing for our European CE mark later with Needle View to start with, and then Echolux to follow up, and then extend into China and Asia markets after that. We have new investors that have come in that we're very excited about working with them. And at the same time, the company is partnering with some strategics, again, for new applications that we're going after, and working with a series of hospital organizations where we can basically deploy the devices for early evidence generation and early adoption. So it's a very exciting time for us. We're doing something extremely different with imaging. We're basically marrying acoustics with photonics, which is extremely unique. We've, been lucky. I've been very fortunate to build an amazing team around us in DeepSight, bringing people from the industry, decades of experience in the industry, all the way back to Acuson, which was the very first really prominent ultrasound company, leveraging the best of the best from Medtronic, J&J, Boston Scientific, and bringing them together in building DeepSight. And what's exciting is that we're changing the future of medical imaging. The technology that we're unleashing in our products is game-changing for imaging. Being able to break some of the barriers and essentially shift that frequency curve that ultrasound has been bound with for decades, where we can now see deeper significantly, but at the same resolution that you're used to being, that you normally see very shallow images at. And that's where we find it truly groundbreaking and revolutionary in terms of what we're doing.